Are you sure you wouldn't rather run around a bit more in the sunshine first?
I'm ready, sir.
Well then... You're late, soldier. Now get in here and give me 20. The human mind. 600 miles of synaptic fiber, 5.5 ounces of cranial fluid, 1,500 grams of complex neural matter, a 3-pound pile of dreams. But I'll tell you what it really is. It is the ultimate battlefield and the ultimate weapon. The wars of this modern age, the psychic age, are all fought somewhere between these damp, curvaceous undulations. From this day forward, you are all psychic soldiers, paranormal paratroopers, mental marines who are about to ship out on the adventure of their lives. This is our beachhead, and this is your landing craft. You shall engage the enemy in his own mentality. You shall chase his dreams. You shall fight his demons. You shall live his nightmares. And those of you who fight well, you will find yourselves on the path to becoming international secret agents. In other words, Psychonauts. The rest of you will die.
Well, that's certainly a way to motivate kids into doing well, and it immediately showcases how harsh Coach Oleander is with his teachings. I wonder if that's going to come into play later. Wink, wink.
Whoa! Light monster!
Formation.
It's resisting. Quick, bring it over here.
What is it?
It's just a little boy. What's your name, darling?
I'll find out. Kid, get in! Ugh.
My name
Starts with a D.
is Rasputin, but everybody calls me Raz.
I love Raz's introduction. Right away, you're shown not only his potential as a psychic, given that specially trained agents can't penetrate his mind, but also his devotion to becoming a full-fledged psychonaut. It gets you hooked. Also, he's voiced by Richard Stephen Horvitz, the voice of Chaos and Moxie, and that's awesome. This is a small thing, I know, but I really like that picking your save file is represented through picking which bunk you want. Makes the world the game takes place in feel that much more immersive. As you might have gathered, Psychonauts is an older 3D platformer, and while in some cases this might date the game's graphics, I actually think Psychonauts holds up really well. Sure, it's not super realistic or anything, but given the intended art style it goes for, it doesn't need to be. It honestly reminds me of Jimmy Neutron in a way, just with more out-there character designs. Speaking of which, I like that each camper was not only given their own unique designs, but also their own unique personalities to help set them apart. Lily is the angsty one with a not-so-subtle crush on Raz, Dogen is the weird outcast that becomes Raz's first friend, Bobby and Benny are the usual dumb bully and dumber sidekick, Chloe's the space kid, Clem and Crystal are the cheerleaders with the dark tendencies, Elka's the obsessive lover of Nils, who himself is obsessed with ladies in general, Frankie and Kitty are the pompous girls who only acknowledge each other's existence, JT's the cowboy, Chops is the cool kid, Milka's the shy invisible girl that eventually becomes Elton's girlfriend, who is kinda just there all things considered, Phoebe and Quentin are the band kids, Vern's the storyteller that never shuts up, and Maloof is the scared victim of Benny and Bobby's bullying, but learns to stick up for himself thanks to teaming up with Mikhail, the Russian camper with the hairless bear fixation that unfortunately goes nowhere. It takes a lot of work to make distinct personalities for 20 different kids, but they did it and it paid off.
I heard a rumor that you were raised in the circus. Well, let me put this in terms you'll understand. I'm the strong man around here.
Really? Because you look more like the cotton candy.
Basic Braining, the tutorial and first of many mental worlds we'll be traveling through this game. Coach Oleander is putting us through a mental war zone for our first lesson. Sink or swim mentality aside, this level does a good job getting across the kind of platforming you'll be doing, as well as the various collectibles scattered in these levels, namely figments of imagination, the basic collectibles, emotional baggage, which requires finding a similar tag and returning it to them, and mental cobwebs and memory vaults for good measure. Also, you get to see how the other campers react to it, and let's just say most of them aren't handling the coach's cruelty very well. I will say the controls do take some getting used to. They aren't horrible or even that bad, they're just a little rough around the edges, namely with your double jump. There's a bit of a delay between when you press the button and when you actually double jump, and while it's not unworkable, it is a little awkward at first. Still, the game controls well enough to where it's fun, so I'll give it a win regardless.
End of the line, sucker! Oh!
Now that you can explore more of Whispering Rock, what do I think of it as the hub world? Well, there's a fair amount to do here between major story events. You can buy stuff at the shop with the airheads you collect from various places, collect items as part of the scavenger hunt side quests, visit Ford Kroller's sanctuary for rank upgrades, and check up on what shenanigans the other campers are getting up to, and boy do they get up to some shenanigans. Makes the camp feel that much more immersive in a sense, and different things happen as the story goes on, especially once night falls. Pretty good all in all. Just avoid the psychic bears. You'll thank me later.
Hey, was that you? Looking at me?
Maybe you should try getting over yourself? There were a lot of other people on that stage besides you.
No, just now. In the woods. No. It must have been something else. You don't smell like pond scum.
Nice. You should write greeting cards.
There was some sort of...
The Brain Tumbler Experiments is the next mental world, and I'm not sure if I should even call it that. Like, nothing really terrible happens here, but only because not much happens here at all. It only exists as a linear hallway that you visit 3 times to move the plot forward, and while the events that happen here are fine enough, it leaves the world itself feeling as unmemorable as it looks. Again, not terrible, but not impressive. Ford Kroller is the best agent in the game. Not only is he a great mentor to Raz, way more than the others, but he's also seen around the camp in various personas like the janitor or the ranger, and he's hilarious in every role. Yet we learn later of a tragic accident that split his mind apart, which created those other personas. Luckily in his base there's a large rock called Titanium that allows him to keep his mind intact, but only so long as he's down here underground. Honestly, he's the most fleshed out of the agents, and it's great. Also, you can summon him with bacon if you ever get stuck, and that's funny. This is about the time where you start gaining various psychic powers to aid you on your journey, and they all do what they say on the tin, but have their uses. Pyrokinesis, Psi Blast, Telekinesis, Invisibility, Levitation, Shield, Clairvoyance, and Confusion. Some are more situational than others, but when you need them, they serve their functions well. Also, a couple of fun quirks like Clairvoyance showing how the people see you depending on the circumstance, and Confusion being a grenade-shaped question mark that Raz pulls the dot from to activate.
Now I'll leave the machine on for you, so you can practice. You have to blast 1,000 sensors to earn your marksmanship merit badge. Come back every day for practice, and you should have enough in as little as 3 weeks.
Fun fact, that's 47.6 sensors a day, or 333.33333333333 sensors a week. A lot less than you might have thought at first, and a severe underestimation on Sasha's end. Like, you can blast through this course in 10 days if you go 100 sensors per day, which isn't that hard to do. Granted, it still probably wouldn't have been enough time for Raz, but for someone as calculated as Agent 9, I'm surprised he didn't think about that. Anyways, Sasha's shooting gallery. While it does its job in teaching you how to use Psi Blast, I don't find it the most memorable set piece. Not just because it's mostly just a white cube floating in a void, but even when things get more interesting with the sensor overflows, it's just a mishmash of random objects for you to navigate as you shut off the sensors. For what it's worth, the Mega Sensor boss fight isn't too bad, and I like that Sasha says he knew Raz was going to overload the sensors when you revisit this world later, but beyond that, it is a world that exists and nothing more. Not terrible, but not impressive.
Okay, what the hell was that? I'm seeing some crazy stuff in here, Sasha. This can't be right.
Why did I buy the cheap brain tumbler?
Okay, I'll admit that was pretty funny.
Let's see if you can make it through the hoop.
You sound like my dad.
Hey, I've been thinking about that. Why'd that guy hate psychics so much? What did we ever do to him?
Well, psychics killed his whole family. Cursed them and all their descendants to die in water.
Wow, an actual canonical reason why Raz can't swim in this game. Didn't expect that. And it even comes back later in a weirdly creepy way, so extra points there. Ah, Milla's dance party. This is where you learn levitation, and the world takes full advantage of it. It's fun to bounce around and float across the platforms, and the world itself is so vibrant and colorful. Really makes you want to get up and dance for real. There's also a race halfway through where you get to humiliate Bobby Zilch again, and you can learn about Milla's crush on Sasha and the less than pleasant parts of her mind. This world's got it all.
You know, Chloe, for a chick whose face I can't see because she's always wearing a helmet, you're pretty cute.
I'm not human, Earth primate.
But you are the girl model of whatever it is you are, right?
Affirmative.
At this point, that's totally close enough.
Man, what smells like butt? Oh, hey, Nils. How about you and your butt and its odor take a hike before I puke?
But
It'd be a real shame if you had to leave your butt here because it was anchored to my foot. Now beat it! Hi, Chloe. How's it, I mean, you know, what's up and stuff?
Bobby, we need to work on you a little.
Wow, even Bobby's got a love interest. And of course, it's the space nut. I guess it just goes to show that there's a right someone for everyone, even if they're mean or stir crazy. If you happen to be playing the PS4 version of this game, which I didn't, but still follow the trophy guy as a reference, there's a trophy for sitting through the entirety of the story Vernon tells here, and as usual with Vernon, it's quite long, but still funny to listen to. Plus, it's probably the only chance he'll ever get to tell one of his stories completely uninterrupted, which is good for him.
Why are you screaming? Oh, right, I remember.
Well, that's cartoonishly morbid. I'm willing to bet you thought this was a kid-friendly platformer, huh? Nope, this game's willing to cross some lines. The Blueprint Brain Tank boss fight, no I'm not joking, is a simple but engaging fight. You gotta use the pillars to avoid the confusion grenades it fires, shoot its underbelly when it gears up the charge, and wail on it while it's stunned before it gets back up. 3 or so rounds of this will be enough to take it out, but don't rest on your laurels. This thing gets much more aggressive as the fight goes on, and even when it's destroyed, the brain continues to hop around and fire a spinning laser and more confusion grenades, forcing you to break it out of its case. Also, I love the look of the arena. It just really clicks with me.
Hey, that white room.
I know. It's from Oleander's mind. I think I was in the coach's dream that whole time. Ever since I stepped through the static in the caravan, it felt funny. I knew I wasn't obsessed with meat.
Yep, Coach Oleander is the villain of this story. It's predictable, especially with all the obvious foreshadowing sprinkled here and there, but for the kind of game this is, it works well given what comes afterwards. Also, when you go back to basic braining and get the other memory vaults, you'll find out that Oleander's previous memory vault was a lie. He never actually served in the army and instead got kicked out everywhere he applied. Even the kitchen didn't want him. How delightfully pathetic.
Jeez, it sounds like you caught a bad cold.
Maybe. Listen. I traced the psychic interference back to Coach Oleander's radio. He's been broadcasting his insane plots all over camp in his sleep.
So he's really kidnapping children and stealing their brains to make weapons.
Yes! Isn't that great?
What? How is that great?
Because this is an honest-to-goodness psychic emergency!
Sasha's not here. He left on some official Psychonauts business.
Milla left a note saying the same thing!
Lily, a deranged madman is building an army of psychic death tanks to take over the world, and there's no one who can stop him, except for you and me!
Oh my god! Let's make out!
That was so horribly out of pocket, yet hilarious. Even outside of the horror genre, I guess lakeside camps are a magnet for lovesick teens. The lungfish fight is one where your mileage may vary on its quality, and personally, I kinda lean towards it being not very good. There's 5 phases to it, 2 of which just involve breaking boxes of tacks to damage it when it's sucking, and dodging the random objects flying at you when it's blowing. The 2 in between are auto-scrolling platform sections, and while they aren't the worst instances of auto-scrolling, they can trip you up and go on for just long enough to be both boring and frustrating. The 5th phase has it swinging its antenna at you, which does a hefty amount of damage if it hits, and it's not immediately apparent that you have to bait its swings near the clans before you can damage it. Again, your mileage may vary with this one, but mine says this needed some tweaks before being finalized. The next mental world is Lungfishopolis, aka the Godzilla parody world. I like me some Godzilla, or Goggalore as the game calls you, so it's already good in my book. While it's not totally devoid of issues, namely the slow movement and some of the enemies can get a little irritating after a while, it's still fun to stomp around the city as a giant, hearing all the lungfish people scream various things as you pass. There's also news reports at various points detailing your progress and the military's attempts to take you down, and they're covered by Coach Oleander not so subtly influencing the people with his evil plan. It's hilarious. And it ends with the equally hilarious Kochamara boss fight, aka Coach Oleander's not subtle at all Ultraman parody. You gotta use your shield to block and deflect his attacks, and then strike when you get the opening to do so. Said attacks have brilliant names too, such as
Deadly Triangle Beam, Mighty Ram, Overly Intricate Combination,
and of course,
Hard to Avoid Area Attack!
Simple in premise, humorous in execution.
When it is your wish to travel across the lake, you may return to either shore and summon me with that.
Thanks, hulking lungfish. You know, you really aren't as hideous as people say.
You may call me now by my true name, Rasputin. The name given to me by my people.
And what name is that, noble lake creature?
Linda.
The Milkman Conspiracy, possibly the weirdest mental world in the game. It's a big mystery as you try to find the Milkman in this trippy as heck neighborhood. You'll need to use clairvoyance and various items littered around to sneak past the secret agents, I mean ordinary citizens doing their jobs, to find clues on the Milkman's location. On my first playthrough, I got lost a fair bit, and there are moments that still trip me up today, but in all fairness, those moments are little more than minor hiccups in an otherwise weird, trippy, and engaging world.
Hello, sir. I am a rainbow squid. Would you like to buy a box of my delicious rainbow treats?
I would buy some cookies, but I don't have any milk. Do you have any idea where I could buy some milk for my cookies?
Ah! Creepy man!
Great job, Raz. You couldn't have said that any weirder. So the houses in this world all have fixed camera angles, and while I'm not normally too fond of these, this building in particular has the most creative use of fixed camera angles that I've seen. The room is pitch black, so you need to use clairvoyance on the cameras because they have night vision, which allows you to cross the room. It's a short bit, but a creative use of an otherwise ordinary mechanic. This world also introduces nightmare encounters, and I don't see the point of these. The fights themselves are fine, you just dodge the attack, shoot it until it keels over, and then throw one of its bombs down its gullet to finish it off. What I don't get is what purpose they serve. They don't feel like intense, meaningful encounters, they feel more like unnecessary interruptions that happen spur of the moment. And if I recall correctly, these encounters only happen once or twice in this world specifically. Nowhere in the other mental worlds before or after have this happen, so that only confuses me more. The Den Mother fight is pretty forgettable. All she does is jump around and throw cookie box bombs at you, and beating her is as simple as shooting from a distance or smacking her up close. She does turn off the lights halfway through, but aside from the perspective change with clairvoyance, nothing meaningful changes. It's not offensively bad by any means, but it's not anything you'll remember.
What have you done? He wakes!
I am the Milkman. My milk is delicious.
And the sea shall run white with his rage.
I am the Milkman. My milk is delicious. Special delivery today.
Talk about an explosive finale. Probably the last thing you expected from a guy called the Milkman, huh? From this point forward, you're able to collect the stolen brains of the campers littered around the asylum, and aside from Raz's apparent need to kiss each one he finds, they're fun to collect as they're never in places too obscure or difficult to reach. Plus, when you return them, not only do you gain extra health from them, but the campers also have unique reactions to Raz filling them in on the current situation. You can even find them in various spots in the camp, and they're all doing different stuff, from vibing to hijacking a truck to snogging, because that's exactly what's important in an end-of-the-world scenario. To get into the asylum, you'll need to gather items for a disguise, each of which are held by 3 inmates suffering from their own mental issues, and you'll need to enter their mental worlds to help them through it and obtain the items you need. The first of which is Gloria von Guten, the stage girl with serious mood swings, and her mental world, Gloria's Theater. This one's half bad, half good in my opinion. Starting with the bad, while I like the gimmick of switching between different plays to progress, it's a bit hard to appreciate that or the stories in the plays when they're delivered like this.
Oh my dear mother! Do you not love my new seaside mansion, bought with a fraction of the wealth my overnight success has given to me? Yes, Gloria, my daughter. I only live to make you happy.
Look, I know the characters are kids and it's supposed to be bad for the joke, but intentionally bad is still bad, and the joke wears thin really fast. That's the awful designs of the kids and how annoying they are as enemies during the dark plays just makes this part annoying to trudge through. The good half is that the world is a Phantom of the Opera parody, and the latter half of the world is spent chasing the Phantom across the catwalks. It's short, but fun to platform around up there, and the Phantom's cheesy lines get a good chuckle out of me.
Excuse me, Miss Slay? I heard you were feeling bad, so I just wanted to say that whatever you're going through, you're not alone. I used to be a performer myself, and I know how hard it is when...
Kid, can't you see I'm trying to have a moment here?
Is this a cliche joke? Kinda, yeah. But does it still land? Kinda, yeah.
Okay, Phantom, it's time to find out who you really are. What? I totally guessed that.
You said it was Becky.
No, Raz didn't say it was anybody. I get the joke they're going for, but it doesn't land nearly as well without any setup. Anyways, we got the Jasper fight now, and given the only credit he'll ever get, it's not too shabby. His main attack is firing insults at you as projectiles, never let it be said that words don't hurt, and you'll need to float up to the catwalks and turn on the spotlights to stun him so you can attack. He will summon enemies to try to stall you though, so be careful. On its face, it's nothing special, but it's cathartic to smash Jasper's stupid face in after having to deal with his loud, rude ass this whole world. Next up is Waterloo World, the mental world of Fred Bonaparte, who's currently being tormented by a genetic memory of his great-great-grandpa Napoleon Bonaparte. No, I didn't stutter. Basically, you're playing a board game the whole world and have to interact with it, the players, and the pieces inside in order to win, and I'm already bored just talking about it. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's even got a couple cute jokes from the soldiers destroying the bridges, and a neat detail being able to see Fred and Napoleon playing the game in one of the buildings in the game. But aside from that, I am supremely bored by this world. Running back and forth across the board is boring, doing menial tasks for the pieces just so they'll pull their weight is boring, and the remix of Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture that plays with this world does little to improve things. Say what you will about the other worlds, at least I feel something when going through them. I feel nothing for Waterloo World, and as a result, it's my least favorite mental world, even when compared to the infamous one we'll get to later. Thankfully, it's followed up with Edgar Tegley's mental world, Black Velvetopia, my personal favorite world in the game. Off the rip, it's the most visually stunning world of the bunch. I mean, just look at it. And its central gimmick involves hanging different paintings in specific areas, which in turn will grant you ways of moving forward and collecting the 4 Queen cards for Edgar. During all this, you'll need to avoid El Odio, the giant pink bull rampaging through the streets, by ducking behind cover and hiding indoors whenever you need to cross. Sure, the fights against the wrestlers or the Queen cards aren't anything special, and sometimes it can be a bit confusing to traverse through, but those are more nitpicks than anything, as I still have a fun time here overall. And as you might expect, you fight El Odio at the end, and it's a pretty good boss fight. Phase 1 is you throwing confusion grenades to stun him and the banderillas to hurt him, whilst avoiding his charges lest you end up flat on your back. But once you go through this, it's revealed that El Odio was actually an enraged Edgar this whole time. In his youth, he had a lovely relationship with his girlfriend, but she ended up dumping him for a boring jock instead. This left Edgar so distraught that it cost him the state wrestling semi-finals, and he's carried that sadness and rage with him ever since, which manifested as El Odio.
They stole my happiness, my life, the state semi-finals, everything!
With this new knowledge, Phase 2 takes a different route. Now you gotta throw the confusion grenades and banderillas at Dingo, the bullfighter manifestation of that boring jock, and be careful to not let him hurt Edgar too much or else you'll fail. It's a great blend of gameplay and story that makes it a standout boss fight for the game.
It's alright. It's okay. We'll win the game some other day.
Please. Edgar, look at them. They're too pathetic to hurt you anymore. Can't you just let it go?
How embarrassing. I can't believe I was hung up for so long over these losers.
I always loved you more?
The Asylum climb, while very trippy and borderline unstable, has some great atmosphere. With the whole thing being so dilapidated and with no music playing at all, just the howling of the wind, it actually feels like a creepy place you never want to get sent to. No wonder Dr. Lobato's mad. The confusion rats are pretty annoying though, that much I'll admit.
Worthless! These brains are worthless, Shigo. Just like the one in your head.
No, they're nice. They're nice brains, Dr. Lobato. Really?
They're too nice. They won't fight. I need killers. I need angry brains. I squeeze them, I poke them, I twist them. What do I have to do to make them fight? Maybe I should try my drill.
I'm not gonna bring you any more brains if you're gonna be so mean to them.
No matter what I do?
No matter what.
Not even if I...
Don't!
Not even if I cook you a little...
Doctor, no!
A little turtle soup?
Please, Dr. Lobato, no!
A nice hot turtle soup. Nothing better on a cold night like this than some boiling hot soup.
I don't want to win animal cruelty, but if it makes getting rid of Lobato more satisfying, what can you do? Right about now is where you reach the point of no return, so I'll go over what's left for 100% completion before we get into the end game. Of course, there's some miscellaneous collectibles you might have missed, like the brains, side cards, and cores, scavenger hunt items, etc., and all those are fairly easy to nab, with one exception. Every game ever just has to have that one exception, and for Psychonauts, it's the Figments. Now, to be fair, these things aren't too hard to nab overall. In fact, if you're diligent during your first visit to each world and have a guide on standby in the revisits, you should be able to get them all in no time. The problem is a combination of the Figments being transparent and hard to see in certain parts, how many there can be in any given world, and certain areas not being very friendly for pixel hunting. Namely, areas like the race and Milla's dance party. You'll be going down that hill quite a few times to get all the Figments littered there. I wouldn't say the Figments are horrible overall. I could get most of them on my first go in most worlds, but even when you do spot them and have a guide on standby, it's very tedious to clean up what's left. Oh my goodness, the punching minigame. So during basic branding, this minigame is whatever. You punch the bad guy targets, ignore the baby targets, standard stuff. But if you want to max out your rank to 101, you need to complete every possible round of this thing to do so, and... This is the epitome of the looks easy when you're not the one playing Conundrum. You have ever so slightly less than a second of reaction time to hit the targets, and keeping up that rhythm to get the score you need is agonizing. I cannot stress to you how many times I got so insanely close to reaching the goal, but kept failing due to losing the rhythm for even a moment. By the time I was finally done with this, my fingers were hurting like hell. And I'd imagine yours would be too if you ever decide to put yourself through this. So to wrap up 100% completion, while these last two aren't necessary for any version that isn't the PS4 version, there's a couple things you could do with the campers before the endgame. Before giving Mr. Pokelope to Shigor, you could show him to all the campers, and they had their own reactions to seeing him. Some pleasant, some less than pleasant, and the rest don't even try. The other thing is using clairvoyance on all of them to see how they see you, and it's certainly unique, Bobby sees you as a punching dummy, Chloe sees you as an alien, Clem and Crystal see you as a football player, Chops sees you as a hockey player, Dogen sees you as just your helmet, Elka, Frankie, and Kitty all see you as a fly, JT sees you as a cowboy, Maloof sees you as a mobster, Mikhail and Quentin are the only ones that see you as a normal Raz, and Vernon sees you as an ear. Strange, but telling. They didn't have to add these, but it's cute they did regardless.
That's right, baby. Daddy's here.
The turtle talks. Because of course it does.
Rasputin, you have surprised us yet again. I cannot thank you enough for what you've done.
Hey, all in a day's work for a psychonaut.
Well, Psy Cadet, you mean.
Hey, the Psychonauts should be so lucky to get someone like Raz. The brain he's got in there
is 1 in a million. Thanks to all of you for bringing it straight to my door.
Oleander.
You took all my friends' brains. You turned an innocent fish into a giant monster. You stole all the teachers, derailing my education. And you kidnapped my girlfriend.
Rasputin, this fight is too big for you.
Back home, I had to clean up after the elephants. So trust me, I know how to take care of this ugly little pile of...
Kids, let the grown-ups handle this.
Oh, come on. I get Lily to an extent, but Raz is more than capable of taking on this guy. He's the reason you're even able to fight back at all right now. The giant Psycho Blaster Death Tank fight, geez that's a mouthful, is a serviceable fight. Just avoid the rocks being thrown at you, use telekinesis and pyrokinesis to get through the shield, and throw a rock at the hull to deal damage. Repeat 3 times and you win. Nothing amazing, but it gets the job done well enough to earn a win. Ah boy, here we go. It's the Meat Circus, everyone, the most infamous world in Psychonauts history, and for not entirely unfounded reasons. I actually don't hate this world as much as a lot of other fans do, but I do understand their issues with it. The first half is spent trying to protect Little Oli, a manifestation of Coach Oleander's childhood, from the monsters around, and this kid will not stay still until he catches his rabbit, which makes it a bit tough to protect him from the enemies. That by itself isn't a problem, nor is the challenging platforming up the temp, because being honest, it's only really hard in the context of this game. It's the combination of these two things, plus the stress of collecting stuff along the way, and how quickly Oli dies that makes it a pain in the neck. And when Oli does die, you have to start the segment all over again, which is really tedious. The real grinding portion afterwards isn't too bad, but that main tent area is still worthy of a sin. Also, constantly hearing the distorted Rasputins gets really annoying really fast. But one positive I'll give the Meat Circus is that the music is the best song in the game. It's fittingly circus themed with that hint of derangement in there, which fits the weird meaty transformation the circus has undergone. Love or hate the world itself, you gotta admit the song's a bop. Alright, final boss time, and just like the world itself, everyone hates it, and for good reason. It's technically split up into 4 phases, so I'll talk about all 4 in one go. Phase 1 is a load of nothing. You just run away from the butcher endlessly until he gets his cleaver stuck, run up his arm to smack him in the head, which isn't conveyed the best, and repeat that twice more to win. Simple, boring, nothing to say. Phase 2 involves a really difficult platforming sequence with a strict time limit to the rising water, in addition to the mental manifestation of Raz's father throwing flaming batons at you. Yeah, this one's irritating, and the repetitive voice lines from Raz's father don't help. Phase 3 is a repeat of Phase 1, just now with more flaming batons to avoid and throw at the butcher. Is this ever gonna get remotely interesting? Or good? Well, yes, at least for a few seconds. We get a sweet reunion with Raz's actual father, before the mental dads are blended together into the 2-headed dad monster. I swear the names in this game. And Raz gets a boost from his dad, giving him a giant form of psychic energy. Does that mean we get to end this with a cool kaiju fight? Nope! You only get this form for a few seconds before needing to constantly run away again until it recharges, and all you do when you do have it is smash the two-headed dad monster's faces in while it cowers. It's a shame this is as bad as it is, because there are some genuinely cool ideas here, but the execution of all just doesn't come together for a satisfying finale. The music and the horror visuals are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but even they can't say what a frustratingly dull final boss this turned out to be.
Okay, let's be perfectly clear about this. That was the best summer of my whole entire life.
Hey, the summer's not over yet. We can hang out for a couple of weeks still.
My family's out on the East Coast. Where's yours?
They move around a lot.
Well, you'd better go. Your dad's waiting for you.
Well...
Bye.
Children, it's an emergency. There's been another kidnapping.
I was here the whole time. You saw me.
No, this time we know who it is, and that's what scares us.
Who was kidnapped?
Truman Zanotto, the grand head of the Psychonauts.
Dad!
Sir, can you teleport this many of us back to headquarters?
Huh? What? Hey, what are you people doing in my kitchen? Now get!
Guess we're taking the jet.
You know, it may have taken 16 years, 12 if you count Rob Us of Ruin, to follow up on this ending, but even as a standalone thing, it's a funny yet heartfelt ending for our intrepid heroes. Off on another adventure, this time as a Psychonaut, and I for one can't wait to see where Psychonauts 2 takes us. One last thing. You want to know what the reward for 100% completing the game is? A cutscene between Shigor, Mr. Pokelope, and Linda the Lungfish. And it's pretty funny. Weird, but funny. Just like this game. I first heard about Psychonauts from a few different YouTubers online, and I thought it seemed like a fun yet flawed platformer. Now that I played it through at least twice, I can say that that viewpoint definitely holds up. Psychonauts has its rough moments, and there are parts that I dread replaying, but as a complete package, it's a fun time every once in a while. I laugh at the humor, I have fun with the gameplay, and I cringe at the parts that suck. At least this time, the parts that do suck aren't 90% of the game, like a certain other platformer. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this E-Raw. Next time will be Spooky Month, and by proxy, spooky content. And I've got a few videos in mind for that, so I hope you all love getting scared this coming October.
I know I am. See you next time, everybody.